Our excursion began at the historic Western Maryland Railway Station in Cumberland, Maryland. The excursion ran on the former Western Maryland main line between Cumberland and Frostburg on the east slope of Big Savage Mountain. The train was powered by locomotive number 1238, a Pacific type, built in Montreal in 1946. Canadian Pacific was the locomotive's original owner and used it in high-speed branch line service in eastern Canada. The 70-inch drivers made the locomotive ideal for commuter service. The excursion began heading west from Cumberland through the Narrows, a natural breach in the Allegany Mountains. In the 18th and 19th centuries, this passage was called the Gateway to the West and became a major transportation route for Western development. One of the sites of interest along the railroad is a massive steel truss bridge in the Narrows, about a mile from the station. One of the better-known locations along this route is Helms Curve, where the railroad makes a sweeping 270-degree arc. Although Helmstedter's farm presents an idyllic scene, agriculture has never been a primary industry in the area. During the 19th century, Allegany County had bituminous coal, iron ore, and glass manufacturing industries. A ride in the Caboose's cupola provides a view of the train as seen by brakemen in years gone by. As we climb the grade to Frostburg, the railroad cuts under Brush Mountain via the 1,000-foot-long Brush Mountain Tunnel. At the time of this excursion, Brush Mountain Tunnel was one of only 2 remaining active former Western Maryland tunnels. As the railroad winds through the mountains, it climbs about 2,000 feet in elevation and occasionally crosses country roads providing a scenic view. At this particular crossing, the railroad became double-tracked. Most of the right-of-way is narrow and only a single track. The western terminus of the Allegheny Central Railroad is the restored Cumberland and Pennsylvania Railroad Station in Frostburg, along with the Allegheny Central's turntable. The station was built in 1888. The station area gives riders the opportunity to disembark and get a bite to eat in the station's restaurant or ice cream parlor. Next to the station is the 100-foot turntable built in 1988 to turn the Allegheny Central's 2 steam locomotives. The turntable is located just to the east of the abandoned C&P Frostburg Tunnel. On the return trip, we first passed over the ex-Western Maryland Main Line and then passed the junction to the ex-C&P switchback line near Frostburg. In 1989, the Allegany Central had hoped to someday resume freight service to some of the refractories and brickworks in Mount Savage on the original Cumberland and Pennsylvania Railroad trackage. As our trip neared its end, we got an excellent view of the 1,000-foot deep Narrows Gorge that has been designated a national landmark. Also within this gorge is Wills Creek, from which Cumberland took its first name. Later the name was changed to Cumberland from Fort Cumberland, located here during the French and Indian War. Cumberland was also the western terminus of the C&O Canal. The Narrows boasts the legend of Lover's Leap. The legend says that an Indian princess and her lover, an English trapper, leaped to their deaths from these high cliffs. Our trip ended back at the Western Maryland Station. The building used to house the Western Maryland dispatcher, who controlled the main line to Connellsville. After the station was abandoned in 1976, the city turned it into a transportation museum and visitor center for the C&O Canal. The Western Maryland chapter of the National Railway Historical Society opened a museum and gift shop on the track level floor. At the conclusion of the trip, the train returned to the engine house for the evening.